Hey everyone, I'm Gifted Tucker and I'm bringing my first impressions of Neverwinter, the free-to-play MMO coming exclusively to the Xbox One later this year. Neverwinter has been out since June 2013 on PC, but this is Perfect World's first attempt at a console MMO. To prepare for their big debut, a special VIP beta access was available last weekend, and since everyone knows I'm such a VIP, of course I got to play it. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the game. We will of course start at the beginning with character creation, one of my favorite features of any video game. Neverwinter does do a decent job of giving you several starting races and classes that differ from the usual fantasy setting. The standard cast of humanoid races make their appearance, such as the halfling, dwarves, elves, and humans, but with half-orcs and half-demons making the cut as well, it does give the game a little extra flavor. Although height and width of your character are your only real differences, so expect everyone to mostly look the same. Speaking of height and width though, the game does do a nice job of giving you options for the character creator. You start with the same cookie-cutter faces and bodies, but you have access to the slider bars that give your avatar some uniqueness. I spent a good half hour building my character as I do in most RPGs, and I was pleasantly surprised by the depth. There are 7 classes in the game which are available for all races to play as. You can choose between 2 warriors, 2 mages, a rogue, a hunter, and a healer class. Unlike most other MMOs though, there isn't a variation in skill trees, so one cleric is going to have the same moves and abilities as any other cleric in the game. In the same regard, only the cleric class can heal and only the guardian fighter class can tank. All other classes are just used for DPS and they don't have any variation because there's no skill trees. I chose to play a cleric and I was afraid I might not be able to quest alone, but honestly after a few hours I found the game to be laughably easy. I was soloing groups of elites that were higher levels than me without even a challenge. The singularity in these classes though I found to be very lackluster and just overall lazy. But honestly, all these are core problems with the PC game. What I'm really here to talk about is the Xbox One port and if it's even worth it. What we will be focusing on, does it look good, does it run well, and how is the control scheme set up? So we'll start with how it runs. When in the main hub town, it lags pretty badly. When you first arrive and you see the people, it just stutters and a lot of people had dropped connections, but that could just be the server starting out. That's why they put out betas like this, so they could test everything out. These issues might be resolved when the game launches, or they could not. A lot of games are coming out untested, as we saw from last year's late releases, but I digress. What won't be changed at launch, though, are the visuals. They just don't look good. They remind me a lot of Elder Scrolls Morrowind. I'm not saying graphically they look like a 13-year-old game, but the movements in the game are just so stiff. You can probably tell from watching the gameplay, but it doesn't look right. Everyone's just so... I don't know. It just doesn't look good. One thing I think they did do right, though, was the controls. The actions are laid out using the triggers, the D-pads, the bumpers, and the face buttons, and it controls everything you do, and it seems to work. It does take some time getting used to, but some games just do. You can map the abilities to different buttons, which is fantastic, and what I liked was they actually mapped auto run to the right thumbstick. When you click it down, it auto runs for you. Now, you may think that's a little silly to waste a button on just something that simple, but if you played any MMO, you know that you use that feature a lot, and it really does come in handy. The gameplay itself, it honestly reminds me a lot of Kingdoms of Amalur, more than World of Warcraft. Which may have been what they were going for, but I think it tries too hard to be a super fast-paced RPG and also use the MMO aspect of the tank healer DPS of every other MMO. Honestly, it doesn't work very good as either games. At launch, Neverwinter will be free to play, but I must warn you, it does have an in-game item mall, as most free games do nowadays. In games with PvP though, being able to purchase items with real cash gives the game a pay-to-win aspect, and most MMOs that use this model tend to fail. Simply because people don't want to play games with someone who could just pay real money to have better equipment, especially if they're fighting you in a battleground. While we are on the subject, I was never able to play a PvP game mode. I was really interested in trying it out, but either the servers weren't working during the beta, or just no one wanted to play. I don't really know, so I can't give you my opinion on that. Overall, the game was fun for a while, and playing with friends was a blast. And I hate to compare the game to World of Warcraft, but that's what you do with an MMO. You compare it to the best. I know a lot of you are saying that MMO sucks, or World of Warcraft sucks, you just don't like it in general. But it is the king of the MMORPG genre, and you have to compare it to it. Bottom line is, I didn't really like Neverwinter when I played on PC over a year ago, And I don't like it now on the Xbox One either. It doesn't really sell it for me now that it's on a console. Even if it is free to play, I probably won't even try it. But for those of you with an Xbox One and you don't have a PC, this could scratch the MMO itch you've been feeling. But this is just my honest opinion. If you are a fan of the game on the PC, then go ahead and try it out on the Xbox One. It's not a bad port. It's just a bad game. In my opinion, of course. I'm Gifted Tucker. Thank you all for watching.